What am I saying?
Welcome back to Pullman High School for the GSL matchup between the Pullman Greyhounds and the visiting Shadle Park Highlanders. The Greyhounds are currently sitting at 6-0 in GSL play, and the Highlanders are sitting at 1-5. I'm Matthew Murray, joined alongside Blake Dobbins.
Yeah, these two teams have already matched up so far during this season, Matthew, with the Hounds coming up on top 64-30 with a stellar performance from Gavin Brown during the beginning of that league play. And Shadle Park looking for their leaders like Gatheka to put together stellar performances. They're going to need it here. Hounds sitting as the only team undefeated in GSL play so far.
Yeah, Blake, in that last matchup, we did see 5 threes knocked down by Gavin Brown. I see he was the leading scorer with 19 points.
Yeah, Hounds coming off of big wins against Rogers and West Valley. Both of those teams are ranked in the top 5 in that FBI coming into the game. And they were able to win both those games by 5 points or less. Hounds get the ball off the tip, already able to finish with Hunt. And Hunt's a guy we've seen already later coming down the road in this season. Have big performances, had a really good game, especially in that third quarter against Rogers. And has started to kind of fall into that dominant position we've expected to see from him throughout this season. And he's been doing a really good job in these recent games as of late.
Yeah, for sure. He's looking a lot more confident this year compared to last year.
Meanwhile, this Shadle Park team is a team that's really struggled so far in league play, coming in at 1-5. Had a lot of trouble getting blown out by a lot of teams. But one thing they can do is shoot the ball from beyond the arc. That's Jacob Boston for 3 there. Brown with a chance to answer back. Shots no good. But we've seen this team have a lot of production from beyond the arc. One of their games against Clarkson didn't have a great outing, but 27 of those 43 points came from beyond the arc. So they can definitely shoot the ball from deep. It's going to be kind of up to their physical performance here to see if they can compete with this Hounds team currently sitting up 3-2 here against this Hounds team. Quan driving in the middle, pops it out to Hunt. A lot of ball movement from the Hounds. Eventually ends up in a tough finish from Quan, and Pewaukee able to help him out, tip that ball in, able to get a good vertical and get about less than a foot away from the rim and just knock it right in there off the glass, as you see there. Highlanders have a chance to answer back now, down 1. See if they're able to put up any presence in the paint right now. Looks like they're going to keep relying on the 3 ball. So far, 2 for 2. That one from Gatheka. Gatheka, one of their most consistent players so far throughout this season. One game, Gatheka accompanied with Ekstad, accounted for 33 of the 34 points for this team. So one of their most consistent top performers. Look to see him make an impact, especially from beyond the arc here in this game.
As the ball is passed out of bounds on its time to get the ball to Austin Hunt.
Ekstad, another big performer, not seen in the starting lineup today. He accompanied Gatheka in that 33-point outing. See if he eventually checks back into the game, or checks into the game off of the bench here. So he would be a big miss for this Highlanders team in terms of productivity. But right now, still sitting ahead of the Hounds, up to doing a decent job limiting the Hounds and taking advantage of those 3 so far. See if they can keep up that consistency, as the Hounds are a little slow from beyond the arc themselves. That's a second missed one, this time from Pewaukee. Tilton has the chance to go for 3, eventually drives in and doesn't get anything to go. Hounds will get the ball back pretty quickly here. Ball goes from Hunt to Northcroft. Usually we see it the other way around, but it eventually results in the ball falling out of bounds.
The ball stays with the Greyhounds as Northcroft inbounds it.
Ball dropped into Hunt again. Again goes out to Brown on the perimeter. He can't make it. That's his second miss of the game so far. Had a really great performance against this team. Looking to repeat that effort.
Shot blocked by Northcroft. Pewaukee drives in.
Nice little up and around shot there from Pewaukee, but can't get it on the right side. Had the defenders beat, but couldn't quite finish off the glass. No scoring in a couple of minutes here for both of these teams. Kind of slowed down. Haven't had many good looks. Highlanders now with the ball. Third three of the night, doesn't go.
Yeah, that's the first three to miss for the Highlanders so far.
That's Tilton's second missed shot from the field here. Looks to kind of take a little bit of a disproportionate role so far in this game. Hasn't had great performances. Not doing so much for this team. As foul is called on Gatheka.
We see our first foul of the game.
Gatheka, a guy that the Highlanders cannot have in foul trouble in this game. Need to keep him in this game where they're leading scorers. More prone to fouls than a lot of guys on this team as well. But they need to keep him in this game and not in foul trouble. Don't want to limit his minutes at all. As Northcroft gets his second one from the line. Johnson driving. Ends up with Gatheka at the top of the key. Takes a step back, can't get it to go from mid-range. Now Pewaukee quickly dribbling down the court. Able to drop it into Bickelhop, who subs in for Hunt. Couple of second efforts. Ball eventually knocked out of the hands of Northcroft. Tried to look for a foul, but didn't get it. Pullman's shot that we see him take very often, especially from the top of the court. And he gets it to go there. Hounds now up by 2. First lead since about a minute into this game. 3 minutes left in this first quarter right now.
On the other side of the court, Northcroft picks up his first foul. He fouls Johnson.
Johnson, another big impact player for the Highlanders. Really great shooter, as you've already seen. He already is up to 4 points, leading scorer for the Highlanders so far with that 3. And then now from the line here, looking to go 2 for 2. And he can. Both of those shots, no doubt. And just like that, Highlanders tie this game right back up. Highlanders putting up a really good performance so far in this first quarter. Had a lot of struggles against GSL teams and this team specifically, as Northcroft's shot is no good. But definitely putting up a much better performance. Hounds really got onto the Highlanders in that last contest. As Hounds end up back with the ball. Ball ends up in the hands of Quan. Northcroft looking to pass. Eventually gets it back to Pewaukee. Shot clock already halfway done. Ball bounces off the hands of Gatheka. Almost goes in, but then gets blocked right away. Very bizarre turn of events there. His ball almost got knocked in off a block from Gatheka.
You don't see that very often.
Almost bounced off the rim. Would have been a little bit of an own goal.
As Bickelhop delivers on the fast break, the layup.
Bickelhop, another guy that's really had great performances. Both of the big men, Hunt and Bickelhop, doing a really good job down the stretch here. Bickelhop always been kind of a good player on the defensive side of the ball. Had a little bit more offensive productivity later in the season so far. Ball getting passed around the perimeter.
Yeah, Blake Bickelhop was the leading scorer against a big game in the West Valley with 19 points.
Ball knocked away. Highlanders running that 2-3 zone, as we see here, kind of limiting the opportunities in the post on that possession. And got the best of the Hounds. Ball eventually knocked out of bounds and gets turned over to the Highlanders. This game's still knotted 10-10 here. Neither team having much struggles offensively so far, as the shot from Johnson is way over. Falls right into the hands of Brown. And the Hounds will take it again. A lot of quick possessions here for both of these teams so far in this game. Neither team taking much over 20 seconds on a possession so far, looking to get those quick looks. Another shot with half the shot clock left. Ball's eventually rebounded, bounced around between a couple defenders. Looked like Gatheka had the chance to rebound that ball, but eventually comes in the hands of a few Hounds defenders and is dumped off to blocking. He gets it to go. Back on the Highlanders side of the ball, another shot from Johnson, another shot goes over, and the Hounds will take a timeout here with just 1 minute left to play in this first quarter. But got to give credit to the Highlanders so far, doing a pretty good job staying with Pullman. Last game got outscored 64-30, and already only 2 behind so far in this first quarter, doing a really good job of containing this Hounds team.
Yeah, it looks like to me that the Hounds have finally found their offensive stride as they've been able to pick up some points in the last couple of possessions and now hold on to a 12-10 lead.
Yeah, Highlanders did start off with a couple of shots from beyond the arc. Got those 6 points really quickly. Could have been a little bit of a fluke. We know that this team is a very good three-point shooting team, but we'll see if they'll be able to keep up that consistency or if their scoring will start to kind of weasel off.
Yeah, the 2 last shots that the Highlanders took both weren't good looks and didn't result in any points.
Yeah, Johnson getting a little greedy there on both of those possessions, taking early shots, less than 10 seconds off the shot clock, and both shots went over. Officials trying to clean up the floor, it looks like, but are finally going to go back into play here. Just 1 minute left in this first quarter. Hounds holding on to that 2-point lead, looking to extend it going into the second. See what they can do here. Kwan kind of stuck in the corner. Gatheka getting his hands up, eventually dumps it off to Pewaukee, who tries to drive under the hoop and gets fouled. And it will be called on the ground. So Rogers will end up around it for the Hounds. Gets it deep to Pewaukee near the half-court line. Hounds do have a fresh shot clock, but the ball is eventually ripped away. Ball stolen by Tyler Pearson. Eventually dumps it off to the leading scorer, Gatheka. And he's not able to get a shot up. Gets blocked by Pewaukee. Johnson now with the ball. See if he can be more smart with it here. Take his time. Does eventually dump it off to Gatheka. Ball popped to the inside.
And the ball will stay with the Highlanders. 11 seconds they have left on the shot clock.
First we've seen of Joshua Millette this game. Ball is eventually deflected away from his hands. Won't get much of a chance on the ball. Instead, it ends up back in the hands of Johnson. And the shot clock's looking to expire. It goes down to 3 seconds. Quick floaters taken by Esewini, but he's not able to secure the bucket. Quick opportunity there for Rogers, and he's able to get it right as time's going to expire there. No shot off for the Highlanders, and Hounds able to extend that lead to a much more comfortable 5. Rogers getting a quick look there, very smart. A little bit of a mistake there from the Highlanders to give Rogers such an open look with such little time left on the clock. But the Hounds are able to take advantage of it. That was their second 3 of the quarter. Both these teams looking okay from beyond the arc. Both have a pair of 3s so far in this game.
Yeah, Blake, I was really impressed by that last defensive drive by the Highlanders where the Greyhounds were able to stop the fast break and not allow any points to be scored.
Other standout, Pewaukee putting in a couple shots in the paint, having a really good couple of drives, drawing a foul on that one down the stretch there that we saw. Didn't really result in anything, but putting up really good shots and being smart in the paint through those defenders with that zone defense that's sometimes especially tough and can easily collapse on a team in the paint. See if Highlanders try to give a new defensive look here, as Hounds haven't had too much trouble with that zone. As both teams get ready to go here for the second quarter of play. Highlanders will get the ball to start off the second quarter here. Gatheka and Johnson still, both of them, yet to check out of the game. Esewini back in the game for Pearson. Looks like him and Pearson will be sharing some minutes here. Quickly checking in. Both checked in back and forth multiple times this game. Ball ends up down low. Millette trying to work on Hunt. Hunt eventually knocks it away, but fumbles with the ball, and it takes 3 Hounds defenders, and none of them can knock it back into play here. So the Highlanders will get a little bit lucky here and end up with the ball with just 4 seconds on the shot clock. See if they can get a quick shot off. Millette's going to have to pretty much immediately take a shot. Eventually gets in the hands of Gatheka, but no good. And the Hounds will take it back. Highlanders able to get off a surprising amount of passes there with 4 seconds left, but possession ends up with no good. Hunt looks to pass, kind of has an open look, as you hear Brantner exclaiming from the bench for him to shoot it, but the shot's a little too late. Highlanders catch onto it a little bit. Nothing results from it. Highlanders able to get possession of the ball.
Offensive foul call moves the ball back to the Highlanders.
Haven't seen many fouls from both of these teams. Hounds only have 2 so far in this game. Same with the Highlanders. Not really been a problem for either of these teams so far. Look to see if that trend continues. Gatheka again looking to drive, gets instantly trapped by Quan. Eventually has to dump it off. Johnson and Gatheka sharing a large percentage of the ball. And Gatheka has to put up a desperate shot, and he will not get it to go. Have not seen that success that we've seen from the Highlanders from 3. Meanwhile, Pewaukee not showing any signs of stopping here as he's good for his second 3 of the night. That'll put him up to double digits already so far in this game. He's got 10 of the 18 for the Hounds. And Hounds already looking to pull away. Highlanders going to need to get some more consistency here on the offensive side of the ball and prove that those 2 threes weren't a fluke here and get some more production as they've been stifled so far in the first 2 minutes of the second quarter.
The Highlanders haven't scored since the 8-minute mark of the first quarter.
Lob pass from Northcroft to Pewaukee, ends up dumping it off, but gets called for a travel. Pewaukee does under the basket, takes a couple extra steps under right there, trying to dump it off to Rogers, but can't get it quite, and that'll result in another turnover for the Hounds. Hounds a little bit of a turnover-prone team. It's kind of been the only thing keeping the Highlanders in this game, defensively especially. A couple of silly mistakes here from the Hounds so far in this game, keeping them to just 18. Still up 8 on the Highlanders right now. Highlanders went from a team that had a lot of quick shots off, now struggling to get even any shot off before the shot clock goes, this time with 1 second left. Desperate shot from Pearson does not go. And the Hounds will get it again. Highlanders need to find a way to score, really eating up that shot clock and not really getting anything. Having to put up desperate shots. Really nice finish there from Northcroft. Able to go up and come all the way down to his hip. And as you see here, get that finish on the left side of the rim.
And that forces the Highlanders to take a timeout as they now find themselves in a 10-point deficit after this 12-0 run.
Northcroft lifts off from the middle of the key, and able to get all the way down to the hoop. Really nice finish there. Puts the Hounds up double digits, doubling the Highlander score of 10. And the Highlanders just struggling to even get an open look. Hounds have seemingly already figured them out offensively. And Shadle Park seemingly not able to get a shot off really at all so far in this quarter. Almost 3 minutes elapsed, and each time it's come down to the shot clock expiring, and the Highlanders having put up a desperate shot. It hasn't converted anything yet so far in this quarter. See if that timeout could help the Highlanders regroup. Esewini gets an open look in the paint, but it's tipped off by Rogers. Really good job closing out on Esewini, and it leads to a fast break. Pewaukee able to slam it down there. Quick pass from Rogers, cross court, and Pewaukee's able to just beat that first Highlanders defender by a couple steps. Although Esewini able to get his revenge after getting that ball tipped, he's able to plant and put up a nice layup.
And the Highlanders break their 6-minute scoring drought.
Ball deflected off the pass from Gavin Brown. Looks like it was intended to Rogers. Second time Rogers has not received a pass. Gatheka pops it out to Tilton, and that's another time we see Tilton take a shot, and that hasn't resulted in anything. Tilton's still sitting at 0 points on the night, although he's taken quite a few shots from the field. See if he can start getting that production up, as Highlanders have had limited opportunities and don't want to waste those. Pewaukee gets another shot from beyond the arc, and he is just on fire. Highlanders need to stop giving him open looks, as he's up to 15, looking to get maybe to 20 before the half, and this is a season performance here from Pewaukee so far. 60% of the points so far have came from Pewaukee, and that's his third from beyond the arc, doing a really good job both in the paint and from beyond the arc so far in this game.
Shot blocked by Rogers.
Next leading scorer for the Hounds sits at 3, and this game is pretty much all champs so far. Hounds getting their total up to 25 right now. Highlanders just a few seconds left on the shot clock. Brown with the scrappy steal, but eventually gets fouled on the ground. And he looks clearly upset that the foul is not called on the shot, but he definitely got hit a couple steps before. Pearson gets caught with that foul, and the Hounds will not get the opportunity on the fast break, but will keep possession, and Northcroft will be the one to inbound it here.
Yeah, that foul looked like it could have been an intentional foul, which would have resulted in a technical.
Pewaukee again from beyond the arc, and he just does not miss. This is the hottest we've seen him pretty much all season. Hasn't missed yet from beyond the arc.
Yeah, and it's not like he's just having these wide open looks. He's shooting with guys in his face.
Yeah, these shots are definitely not wide open. Even though the Shadle team is one of the less formidable we've seen the Sounds team play, it does not take away from the fact that Pewaukee is having such a stellar night so far. Looking that he could easily break that 20-point mark in just this first half, which would near his season high so far. Looks really calm and collected so far. Hasn't really gotten too cocky or excessive so far, just putting up shots and pretty much knocking down everything he's thrown up so far. As the block from Hunt, and Pearson getting a little aggressive here, is to take a shot at Pewaukee. Eventually doesn't get fouled, and ends up in a missed pass from the Hounds, or deflected pass, mind you, as Pearson just gets absolutely rejected, has no chance of a shot there.
Hunt just swats the ball, doesn't even block it.
And this game has instantly turned from what looked like a close match to an insane scoring performance from the Hounds, getting up to 18 points in this quarter alone.
The Hounds have already doubled how many points they scored in the first quarter with 10.
Hounds yet to get to their most prolific quarter, that third quarter, and already went from a 2-point lead to that, or to a 5-point lead, excuse me, to that 18-point lead that they now have. And this Highlanders team is already losing touch with the Greyhounds. And we'll see if they can recover, but their offense has looked pretty much irrelevant compared to the performance specifically Pewaukee has been putting up so far. See if they get the ball to him again here off the inbound. Instead goes to Brown. Brown has an open look from the corner. Gatheka gets up in his face and shots just short. Northcroft able to rebound after the ball bounces off a couple of guys. Hunt able to get the third effort, and he's finally able to put it in. Just quick bounces it off the glass there, does a really good job. And the Hounds will extend their lead to 20 here, 32-12 now. See what the Highlanders can do in response. Shot from Gatheka from 3 beyond the arc is no good.
Heavily contested by Pewaukee.
Yeah, since those first 2 3-pointers, Highlanders have been so quiet from beyond the arc. Meanwhile, fast break, and the Hounds are starting to have a little bit of fun. Kwan's all smiles there after he gets that quick pass into that layup on that left side of the rim. Highlanders again with the ball really quickly as the Hounds were able to strike and extend their lead above 20. And although the Highlanders looked pretty formidable as that jumper goes in for Gatheka.
Those are only the 4th points scored by the Highlanders this quarter.
Yes, as I was saying, Highlanders looking a lot less like a formidable team. A lot of effort, kind of subbed in a couple new guys, and it seems to have affected them as the Hounds are back up to that 22-point lead in just the first half. And this performance is seeming even more dominant than the one in their previous meeting.
Cade Hill comes in from North Prague. His first minute into the game.
Clock just under a minute left to go in the second quarter here. Hounds sustain that 20-plus point lead. Highlanders yet again down on their side of the court. And the Highlanders offense consisted of just a lot of passing around the perimeter, not really able to get anything going under the basket, with Hunt looming over this Highlanders team who isn't the tallest. Tallest guy is Bowers, sitting at just 6'2".
And Milwaukee banks out another 3. His 21st point of the night.
Milwaukee just having an incredible night. And nobody from the Highlanders can seemingly match him. Johnson's shot is no good. And Milwaukee looking to have a career night for sure, already nearing that season high with 21. And the Hounds
6 seconds.
And the Hounds will most likely take it to the half here. Milwaukee looking to get everything he can in this first half. Instead pops out to Quan. He takes an open 3 and he drills it at the buzzer. Shot just goes in. With the red.
42 points in the first half.
Yeah, Hounds already almost have that 34-point lead that they won by in that last game. Up 28 here at the half. And we'll check back in for the second half of action here from Pullman High School.
For morning practice, we wake up at 4:45, eat breakfast, yada, 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 go to practice for 5:30 a.m. and we train until 7, and then I get to go home. That's the best part. Eat more breakfast number 2. We eat breakfast number 2. I go to class up at WSU until around noon, and then go to school at the high school for an hour, and then I go to practice at 3 p.m. until 5:30, and then I go home, do homework, all that festive stuff, and then we wake up and we do it all over again.
So I wake up, get ready, pack all my bags, pack a bag for school, pack a bag for dance, pack a bag for cheer. So I go to all my classes. Cheer starts at 3:15 and it goes to 5:15. And we warm up, we stretch. Depending on what Willie wants to do, we do stunting first, or we work on dancing first, but usually every day we work on stunting and dancing. If I have to leave early to go to dance, I just leave cheer a little early. And then when I get home, I do my homework, and then I go to sleep.
I get to the school at like 7:20-ish, and I do 0 period orchestra. And then since I have running start, I'll leave the school, I'll go to WSU, do my classes there, come back, do my classes here. Generally have practice from 3 to 5, and then games on Tuesday, Thursdays. And we get here at like 4:30-ish, and then we'll stay till like 8:30-ish.
I wake up. I don't wake up to my first alarm. I have to snooze it, and then I wake up. Then I go to work till like 11:30, it depends on the day. So I only have 5th and 6th period at the high school, and then I have a couple online classes that I take per quarter. So right now I'm taking botany and then English at the college, and then my other 2 classes here are career choices and calc. And then I just work on my online classes after school. Then I go to soccer, occasionally team dinner, and then I go home and do my homework.
So I wake up around 7:20, and then I make sure I have everything prepared for the classes ahead of me, and then I head to school around 8:05. I got practice for about 2 hours from 3:05 to 5:30. I watch film. We watch film for the first hour. We prepare, put our pads on, and prepare for the tune we have ahead. And then practice ends, I put my stuff in my locker, then I walk home, get some dinner, and then work on the schoolwork I need to work on for the day.
I wake up at 7 a.m., I go eat breakfast, and then I brush my teeth, do my normal stuff, then go to school. After school, I go to WSU to do some other classes, and then I go to cross country. During cross country practice, we start with a 10-minute warm up, and then we do light stretches, and then we do our either long run or we do a hard run that day. We have dual meets on Wednesdays, and then big meets, invites on Saturdays. After that, I do some soccer, and then I go home pretty tired, so I take a shower, eat. Oh, the best part about being a student athlete is eating, for sure.
I think student athletes really need to have like good time management skills.
Confidence.
Discipline.
Commitment.
Time management.
Grit.
Being committed to your sport, but also be committed to school.
To be able to juggle like things like homework and practice and games.
You gotta have a lot of grit, a lot of tenacity to make yourself get up in the morning, train and work hard to get outcomes that you want.
Balancing soccer and work, or whatever sport you do in work, is a really big portion of that.
type of action in the second half versus the Shadle Park Highlanders. Hounds hold on to a 42-14 lead, with Milwaukee leading score 21 points.
Yeah, Hounds outscored the Highlanders 30-4 in that second quarter. Highlanders got 10 in the first. Really had no offensive production, see if they can fix that. Meanwhile, the Hounds only got better. Milwaukee scoring 21 of those 42 points for the Hounds, but he's definitely helped out by a few guys. Hunt, Quan, Northcroft all putting in 5 or more.
Brown picks up a foul. I haven't seen so many fouls so far in the first half of this game.
Yeah, neither team really getting into any foul trouble at all. Hasn't been really costly for any teams. A couple free throws being made on either side. As Pearson lays out to save that ball. Goes pretty far.
Almost goes right into one of our cameras.
Jumped almost, it looks like 10 feet out of bounds and got a little bit heated there. But it ends up being Hound's ball anyway. Wasn't really able to save it. Tried to kind of throw it through his legs or maybe over his head or something like that.
I'm not quite sure what you're supposed to do there.
Ball getting swung around the perimeter for the Hounds. Hounds like to do this early on in halves. Goes for an alley-oop, hits off the net. Doesn't quite get to Milwaukee, but bounces right to Quan. And he's able to finish it. He gets up to 7. He's the second leading scorer behind Milwaukee so far in this game for the Hounds. Pearson looking to motion for his team to kind of drop a play. A little aggravated after that save of the ball. Gatheka pulls up, but can't get it to go. A little short from mid-range. Ball falls right back into the hands of Gatheka. He's driving quickly down the court, taking up the right side. Hounds defense still able to settle, but Gatheka puts up an unexpected open shot, and that'll be his second from deep.
Yeah, he hits 2 of those pretty early in the game and wasn't able to connect on the other ones until that shot.
Yeah, beginning of the half seems to be the time for Gatheka. That's his second shot. Pulls up unexpectedly. None of the Hounds expecting that, as Hunt's able to get it to go on the inside. If the Highlanders want to keep this game relatively close, Gatheka has to put up more of a leading role type of scoreline. As Esawini gets his second bucket of the game, that puts him up to 5. But we've seen Gatheka put up a lot better performances. Seen him commonly go upwards of 20, and this 8 points that he has right now is not on par with what the Highlanders need to win games. Sitting at 1 of 5 in the GSL. Meanwhile, shot from Brown just a little short from the corner. Another 3 from the Highlanders. This time from Tilton doesn't go. Tilton's still yet to score, but definitely taking his share of shots so far. Hasn't gotten anything to go. Hunt under the basket at least gets fouled, and he'll be shooting 2. Hunt in that game against Rogers had a really good shooting performance from the free throw line. Haven't seen him throughout the season have the greatest performance, but he was almost flawless in that Rogers game. Pretty interesting, as that was one of the keys that ended up allowing them to win that game by 5.
First shot doesn't go in.
Highlanders slightly cutting into that lead now. Got it down to only 26, but only 2 points better from what it was. And now it's right back to what it was in the half, 28. Hounds extend their scoreline to 48 points. And Esawini able to get his second straight bucket for the Highlanders. He's now up to 7.
The Highlanders finally able to score early in the shot clock because they struggled with that in the first half.
Hunt and Milwaukee getting absolutely hounded in the paint, but Milwaukee still find a way to plant off his left foot and put up a nice hook shot that falls in. That puts him up to 23, his first bucket of the second half. As foul is called on Pewaukee. That'll be his first of the night. Nobody in the game for the Hounds so far has even 2 fouls.
Austin Hunt checks out of the game. What's kind of strange about this game with Austin Hunt is typically you see somebody matched up against him like with a similar size, but today no Highlanders are able to match up with him.
Yeah, Gatheka, the only player on the court right now with 2 fouls. His shot from 3 does not go. Just short. A lot of these shots from the Highlanders coming up short. Post to the contrary. Bickelhop tries to post up, and he draws a foul. Clear contact. Bit of an aggressive foul on Bickelhop. And he will come to the line, try to get this Hound score line above 50.
His first shot does go through him.
Hounds looking to get that lead up to 30 for the first time in this game. This should be the largest lead of the game so far. And ball bounces around and it will go. So the Hounds nearing that 34-point lead that they obtained against Highlanders in their last meeting away. Sitting at 30 would be really close to that score line. Good rebound from Brown, able to fight Tilton there. Tries to go for a deep lob cross court to Bickelhop, but he can't haul it in. But eventually bounced off a Highlanders defender, and the Hounds will luckily get the inbound here. Ball goes to Pewaukee on the outside. Ball swatted at by Johnson, and a foul is called. And yeah, offensive off-ball foul is called on Quan. Interesting there. Quan a little bit confused with the call. He'll be the first one to pick up 2 for the Hounds.
Yeah, he pushed off a little bit. The official side and called it.
Tilton checks out of the game for the Highlanders. So does Northcroft for the Hounds. Cade Rogers will come back into the game for the second time. Rogers played that starting role in a couple games for the Hounds, but has kind of sunk back into being one of those 6-man kind of guys. Still really impressive what he's done as a freshman, one of the leading scorers from the Hounds coming off the bench. He looks to have an opportunity here. Eventually pops out to Pewaukee, who's been on fire. Ball bounced around and actually doesn't go. Rare miss from Pewaukee there. But it will still be Hounds ball, and they'll have another opportunity to extend this lead above 30 here with just over 3 minutes left in this third quarter. Ball swung out to Pewaukee. Johnson quickly closes out, doesn't give him an opportunity. Instead goes into the paint where Quan overshoots a layup. And Bickelhop gets called with another offensive foul. 2 straight offensive fouls for the Hounds here. A little bit of a weird trend. Haven't seen much fouls, and to have 2 offensive ones is a little bit odd. That'll be Bickelhop's first on the night. A little bit of a problem Hounds need to check out, but not really a general problem to this game as they hold a 30-point lead. And Bickelhop picks up his second foul, reaching over the Highlander player in the paint, and he'll pick up 2 right away within about 20 seconds of each other. Brandner doesn't look to check in anyone for him, though. Shot from Millette goes. That'll be his first point of the night. Millette having a very little impact in the paint, kind of getting dominated by Bickelhop and Hunt. Been a big story in this game. Bickelhop and Hunt both able to have their way a little bit. Bickelhop just sitting at 4 points, but Hunt having more than that. Highlanders doing a much better job of containing Pewaukee so far in this half. He's only had 2 with over 5 minutes already played. Rogers gets an open look from 3. His shot's just short, rims out. Bickelhop gets the second effort and is able to put up a quick shot, kind of a fadeaway to his left side. Awkward angle, but he's able to drop it in there. Pearson tries to make a crossover move, doesn't really have an effect, slips away out of his own shoes a little bit. Ball comes into Millette. Millette doesn't really do anything with it. Points as Bickelhop drops his second pass of the game. 2 fast break passes that Bickelhop has now dropped. Not having his best performance so far in this game. But Brandner will stick with him here. Sweeney having a above average performance, hasn't been a consistent performer for the Highlanders, but done a decent job, has his 7. Brown goes for another sneaky steal, and eventually will secure possession for the Hounds. Ball bounced off of Pearson. A little surprised by Brown kind of coming out of nowhere. One of the things we've seen him do, he's a very scrappy defender, and we've seen that pay off quite a few times. This time not quite getting at the ball, but still surprising Pearson and able to get that steal for the Hounds. But Pearson's able to take it right back, driving down the left side of the court. Hounds defense not quite able to get settled, goes behind his back, but gets it taken away by Rogers. Pearson having a little trouble handling the ball, trying to put a couple moves on the Hounds defenders, but not really having much of an effect. Gatheka pulls up with another mid-ranger, and yet again it doesn't fall for him. Having a little bit of trouble there from the mid-range. And timeout's called by Coach Brandner, and the Hounds will take a break. Yet another timeout, under 1 minute left.
The Highlanders have really found a way to stop Milwaukee. He's held only 2 points in this quarter.
Yeah, Milwaukee had that huge second quarter, kind of been limited, but it hasn't really caused much of a problem for the Hounds. Still up 2 on the Highlanders in this quarter, and all they need to do is really put it into cruise control and just maintain this lead.
Yeah, Milwaukee's been limited, but that doesn't limit the other guys on the team being able to put up some points, such as Bickelhoff and Northcroft.
Yeah, Milwaukee's performance has allowed the Hounds to kind of let off the gas here. Christopher Schroeder comes into the game. One of the guys who doesn't get a ton of time on this varsity squad, but he'll look to put in a good performance with just under a minute to go here for the Hounds. Cade Hill also checking in off the bench. Ball goes to Bickelhop, drops it in, eventually pops it out to Hill. His shot doesn't go, just over from 3.
Schroeder breaks up the foul on that possession.
Kind of heads up, Esowini realizes it and just rolls it down to the other side of the court, kind of before the referees even signal.
First time we've seen either team in bonus in this game.
Yeah, Hounds not really having any obvious trouble, but a couple fouls picked up by Bickelhop, and they eventually added up. And so Highlanders will be able to capitalize. Pearson able to get the first one. That'll be his first point of the game, despite a lot of opportunities and that leading role at point guard a majority of this game. And he's able to get both to drop from the line. Hounds lead down to, can I say, just 28 points. Rogers dumps it into Milwaukee. Pearson sneaks up behind. Pearson playing really aggressive throughout this third quarter. Kind of been one of the things that's limited this Hounds team on offense so far in this third quarter. Milwaukee, however, able to put up a tough shot and rebound his own shot. Nobody from the Highlanders even goes up for that rebound, and Milwaukee able to put it up back up in the air, and he's able to get up to 4 in this quarter, and his performance is up to 25. Hill able to put up a 3, and it doesn't go. That's his second shot from beyond the arc in that final minute. Looks to get a shot as time expires, a little unsettled, and can't quite get it there, although the Hounds will put their lead back up to 30, and the Highlanders' chances of getting back in this game are slim to none here, as 8 minutes is not a lot of time. And the Hounds have set themselves up really well, especially maintaining even in that third quarter, despite having a little more trouble on the offensive side of the ball compared to that 30-point second quarter.
Yeah, you wonder if Milwaukee will get some bench time, some rest time in this game. He has been on the floor the entire game.
Yeah, they definitely been relying on him. He's been a go-to guy. He scored almost half of the points.
And he'll stay in the game.
Brentner maybe wanting to squeeze out as good of a performance as he can from Milwaukee, already having 25 points, and want to give him that season high game and put that number as high as possible. And I'm sure Milwaukee appreciates it from his coach. As we get ready for the final 8 minutes here at Pullman High School. Hounds sitting with the lead, 56-26. Highlanders' offense is really stifled, only scored 16 points in the past 2 quarters combined. Meanwhile, the Hounds have had 44. Although Gatheka is able to get his third from beyond the arc, puts him above double digits, the only Highlanders player with that score line. It seems like the beginning of the quarters is the only time Gatheka is primed, catching the Hounds sleeping a little bit. That's the only real offensive trend we've seen for the Highlanders, as Hunt is able to answer right back again with a quick move on the right side. None of these Highlanders defenders really have a chance against Hunt, standing at 6'11". He has the Highlanders outmatched by 9 inches, even for the tallest guy.
And Brown finally picks up his first points of the game with that mid-range shot. Hounds at the 60-point mark. And to remind you, last time these two teams played, the score resulted in a 64-30-point win for the Hounds.
Yeah, score line looking eerily close, as Northcoff's able to pick up the foul there as he already makes the way up on the fast break. It would have possibly put the Hounds within 1 point of what they were able to put up last time on the Highlanders. They're also sitting within 1 point of that total. And he's able to finish there, gets the Hounds total up to 63. Yeah, and this game looking eerily similar to that last game. Hounds kind of following their general trend of having their best performance in the middle of the game in both the games. It's resulted in a similar scoreline.
It's hard to believe this game was a 2-point game after the first quarter.
Tilton able to draw a foul, looking for his first points of the game here. And he is able to secure that first point and put the Highlanders up to 30. Second one bounces around about 5 times, but does fall. So the Highlanders will beat that previous scoring, but it's not going to really matter in terms of the wins and loss column here, as the Hounds basically have this game locked up. One of their largest leads of the game, now extended to 34. And the Highlanders have really shown that they can't quite compete with the upper echelon of this GSL 2A league. Their only win coming against East Valley, who has yet to win a game so far.
The Hounds are showing why they are the best team in the GSL.
Yeah, as far as standings go, with the win, the Hounds will most likely will stay at their dominant position, the only undefeated team, so they can control their own destiny as far as league play goes and secure that first slot.
Swan lays it
in league playoffs. Shot from Tilton doesn't go yet again. And the Hounds looking to have an opportunity to get a very manageable game against the 4th slot in this league.
And finally, the Highlanders 16 enough, and they call a timeout.
If the standings were to stay as they were, Pullman would have a matchup against the 4 seed Clarkston in those league standings, and Shadle Park, would have the winner between the 3 and 6 seed, which would most likely be West Valley. To a playoff slot, even though they might earn that number 1, because either West Valley or Rogers is most likely going to win their game against the 6 seed, which will most likely be East Valley, who's ranked 59 out of 62 teams in 2A in the state right now. Hounds have defeated both Rogers and West Valley, but neither were too convincing. A 5-point win against Rogers, in which Rogers almost came back, and then that 3-point win against West Valley on the road. So as it comes for playoff, the Hounds are still going to have to compete, but this game will keep them undefeated in league play. Highlanders with the ball, coming out of this timeout yet again. Ball dropped in to Millette. Can't quite get the shot to drop, but will draw a foul. Officials much more prone to calling fouls here. A lot more coming against the Hounds, as they sent the Highlanders into bonus and already have 2 in the first 3 minutes of this quarter. Quan and Bickelhop both sitting at 3. Quan just checks out. Milwaukee burning a little bit of time at the top of the court. Know that time is definitely on their side here, and would most likely want to limit as many possessions as they can. Brown takes an open shot for 3, and the Hounds will get a fresh shot clock. Rogers able to jump up and grab that rebound. Brown taking his second shot of the possession. Doesn't go as well, but the rebound from Northcroft converts into a layup for him, so that will put him up to double digits. He joins Quan and Milwaukee with double digits, Quan having 13, and then Milwaukee with that stellar performance up to 25 still, and definitely looking to extend it, see if he can grab a 30-point game here, as he's yet to hit that mark despite being the team's leading scorer.
And Milwaukee finally gets his first rest time of the game.
See if he will come back in, or if he'll have to be happy with 25 here. Meanwhile, number 25, Millette still having some trouble in the paint. Shot's no good. Hounds able to get a quick shot off. Anderson, shot is short. Ball comes to Brown eventually. Hounds pretty much having their way as far as rebounding comes, out jumping and outmatching the Highlanders, quite frankly, and getting a lot of second chances here. It's been a big impact so far in this game, and it's becoming more and more obvious as this game comes to a close.
That ball is poked loose.
Hounds now extend their lead to 38, 4 points more than they won the game last time, put it up to 6. As the Hounds are now up to 73, putting a really good offensive performance on here. Gatheka tries to do it himself and ends up getting blocked by 2 offensive players. Hill tries to drive, kind of trips over his ankle and falls, but ball bounces to another Hound offender, and they're able to put it in. Gatheka from 3, he's no good. And the clock ticks below halfway through this fourth quarter. Ball stolen. Rogers kind of tries to throw it as hard as he can at Brown.
Travel is called.
Yeah, turnover didn't result in anything for Jameer Johnson, who's also had a relatively quiet game for being one of the leading producers. So Githeka still being the dominant player on this team, but not really doing much to write home about. Has 11 so far in this game.
Hounds officially take out all their starters.
Yeah, Brandner has a good opportunity to let some of the guys that have been spending more time on the bench get some time here. Brandner usually characterized as more of a stingy coach as far as pulling people out, but decides to do so with the Hounds up 42, just under 3 minutes to play. Johnson for three, he can't get it from the top. Johnson started off this game with a three and hasn't had any since. Rogers able to get a tough layup on the outside of the backboard, able to put it over his defender and take a really wide angle, but still able to bank it off the glass and get it to go. So Hounds are up to 77. Looking to have a fast break here. Schroeder able to draw an and one. Esewini comes behind him and catches them there on the arm. And Schroeder has the opportunity to get a three-point play and put the Hounds up to 80 points here. One of their more dominant performances offensively throughout this season. Schroeder from the line here. And he will get it, so he will get that three-point play. And the Hounds have had a pretty dominant performance throughout this game here. Millette finally getting something in the paint. Comes against the freshman big man, Gavin Deely. This is one of the first times we've seen him check into a varsity game. Been consistently suiting up, but haven't seen him get very many minutes here. Millette able to finish and get the and one. He will not get a three-point play of his own, however. And Schroeder will take the ball up for the Hounds here. Tries to cross it behind his back, is a little too powerful. Ball gets knocked away by Esewini, but he's eventually able to recover and dump it off to Gavin Deely in the paint. Ball getting swung around really quickly. Deely tries to post up, gets deflected. And the ball will eventually go to the Highlanders. Clock ticking, nearing a minute here. Shadle Park not looking to be able to breach that 40-point mark here with just over a minute left to play. And that offense really just fizzled out for this team. And the Hounds were really able to lay it on with those 30 points in the second quarter, and that was the difference in this game. Highlanders kind of lost a little bit of heart. And that resulted in the Hounds ending up coming out of this game with a dominant performance as Esewini comes to the line. First shot, no good. And he can't get the second one. Ball quickly swung down the court. Rogers able to get under the hoop, or sorry, excuse me, Holstad able to get under the hoop. Another one of the guys not getting much time, but he's able to put in a quick shot down low. Nobody really guarding him, and Esewini is able to draw another foul. Really extending this last minute of this game, but getting his money worth. He looks to get up to 10 points here with going 2 for 2. First shot just rims out, and he looks really disappointed with that. Looks like he wanted to get to double digits, despite his team suffering a pretty bad loss here. and can't get the second one either. 1 for 4 from the line is Asawini. And Millette able to get the rebound, and he'll go to the line.
More free throws.
Hounds with 30 seconds left really don't need to be fouling here. Bunch of fresh guys. It's not going to put any real danger on this game, especially if the Highlanders are not going to make any of their free throws here. 0 for 3 so far in this possession on free throws. And the Hounds are going to end up taking this one and can do it a lot quicker if they don't foul. Schroeder trying to fight his way away from 2 Highlanders defenders, gets the ball taken from behind him by Messawini.
Shadle Park is not giving up. Still playing very tough defense.
Anderson jumps over the line to save the ball, eventually goes to Dealey, and he's able to get a couple with less than 10 seconds on the clock, and this is where we will most likely end the game. Shot from Nelson ends up going, and he looks happy.
Final score, Greyhounds 84, Highlanders 38.
He getting 25, his best performance of the season. And the Hounds will come away with a pretty convincing win. I'm Blake Dobbins, joined by Matthew McBurdy. And go Hounds.